Hey everybody, good to see you. Let me go over and mute my pilled side over here so I don't end up with an echo. Um, so I just want to say hi to, thank you for coming, Miss Mouse Toes. Hi Virginia, C. Dean, Trish Wiley, Howie. Thank y'all for coming. Who did I miss?
Sandra.
Sandra, Miss Virginia. Good to see you. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else. If I missed somebody, please let me know. I'm going to try. All right. Hopefully that will come up on Pilled in just a second. So tonight we're talking about ways to not be overwhelmed when it comes to preparedness, because we can get overwhelmed really easily with so much going on in the world. So, hey, Threads and Jars, good to see you. So, yes, we're going to talk about that. And good to see you, Morgan. Okay, so with all that's going on in the world today, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Got my notes here. Tonight we're going to discuss some tips to help you feel a little less overwhelmed when it's talking about, when it pertains to preparedness. So, well, goodness, it's still not live over on Pilled yet, so hopefully it will soon. So, yeah, I see this a lot. People talking about being overwhelmed. Don't you, Mouse? Like, they're like,
yes,
in a panic because they feel like they have to get everything all at once. And, I've got to have it now or we're not going to survive. And I've been there too at times,
Oh, you roboted. Can y'all hear her in the side chat? She's frozen. Tasha. Oh, frozen. Okay. Hey, Bushcraft. Can y'all hear me? Nope. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Tasha is frozen, not frozen, frozen. I'm Southern. Can y'all hear me? I'm in the middle of a storm. Yes, CD, you can hear me. Okay, we're winning. All right. So Tasha is going to come back. So thank y'all. I have a big weather storm here, like a thunderstorm with some lightning, but my DSL should be protected by my solar battery, so I'm not too worried. But if I do disappear, it probably means my house blew up. So nobody be alarmed. But I like what she was talking about getting overwhelmed. And I'll tell you the one incident that comes to mind for me. Remember February of last year? Or was it this year? 2021, this year. Remember Texas losing their entire grid and those little whippy fans they do? What do you call those things you put out in cornfields and stuff and how they froze? Hey, Christy.
Oh, I'm back.
So they lost their whole grid. So I can see how they'd get overwhelmed because they are not used to temperatures in the teens. Okay. So what happened to them was not only have you lost power, and it's, starts out at 32 degrees and then it's down to 30 and then it's down to 18, but they have 2-story houses and their water pipes started to burst and water's flooding in their house. They're like us on the South Carolina coast. They know how to prepare for a hurricane. How do you prepare for that? So, Tasha, while you were gone, I was talking about the Texas ice storm came out of nowhere and the damage that was done, the flood into their house. So we always think hurricane, we're prepared for Texas, South Carolina. And that had to be overwhelming. Inner water they had stored. How would they cook their food? So you go ahead. Mm-hmm. But you were frozen, but you looked pretty. You were in a pretty pose. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's good. It wasn't like,
yeah.
I hate it whenever
you didn't have a finger in your nose or anything.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, CB says I'm live over on Pilled, so that's good. I just wanted to make sure. I'll go to the comment section. Yeah, I just, for some reason, it wasn't showing on my end that I was live, so I was just making sure. Thank you, CBs. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody over at Pilled. I tried to have a separate page up, but my internet will not allow me to. So sorry, but I'm going to have my phone right here and I'm going to try it. So CBs, if you can just text me if there's any questions over there on Pilled, I'd appreciate it so I can make sure that they're included and answered as well. Hey, Gerald B, Susanna, Bushcraft family. Who else came in while I was gone? John H, Christy Christy Betts, sorry. I thought it was Betts. Hey, Jane. Welcome, Threads and Jars. Wendy Benjamin, good to see y'all. Thank you so much for coming in. If y'all would do me a favor and hit that thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, okay, so yeah, it can be very overwhelming. So we're going to talk about a few tips to help. And Mouse Toes, just jump in if you think of something that applies to any of the stuff that I'm talking about or anything else you want to add. Hey, Jeff. Okay, so number one, I have on my list here that I made today, take care of yourself. Okay, guys, don't forego doctors or dental appointments because you want to use that money on preps. It will cost you in the long run, guys. So, and it'll be far more money. So you want to be in the best health you can be in a bad situation, in a shift situation. So that's the last thing you want is a major toothache or a major tooth infection or something else going on that you could have had taken care of earlier, and then it happened in a shift where you can't get anything done. Like for me, if I'd have known that it was my gallbladder bothering me, I would have had that taken out long time ago. I don't want to wait until there's a shift event and then possibly lose my life because I waited. Hey, Bella. Hey, Josh. So also take breaks. Give yourself permission to take a day off or even just a few hours to spend time with family. Go to a movie. Go read a good book. Go to the movies. Read a book. Sorry, I just reread that. Yeah. So yeah, go fishing. Whatever decompresses your emotions. You want to decompress. You do not want to just be in, because that prepping mindset is kind of, in some ways, hey Patricia, it's kind of frenzied. It clutters up your mind and it kind of gets you worked up a little bit, whether you want it to or not. Because it's a dark place to have to go worrying about all of that. Good evening, Demeter. Welcome. So yes, you want to do things, take steps, take breaks, do things that just bring you joy. Go on a live stream where we're not talking about prepping and just laugh until your heart's content. Do things like that so that you can return renewed and with vigor and with a clear mind. Okay? Anything to add to that, my dear? Hi, I'm on it.
I think it's like when you have a day off and you've worked for like 2-3 weeks in a row and you want to come home and just chill on your sofa, but you see dust and a little pile of stuff over in a corner that you didn't, you come in, maybe your kids drop their stuff in a corner and you can't relax till you get it all done. I think that's what we mean by being overwhelmed is you can't just go, I've got to start with food, water, and something else. You have to make slow steps. And I'm going to use the Texas ice storm again. They had never had that happen for that duration with that much damage. Okay.
Yeah.
So anything they had for hurricanes was damage from all the flooding and the busted pipes. So if you can take one scenario, Morgan was, Threads and Jars was talking about being in an earthquake zone, right?
Yeah.
Take one scenario that was out of the ordinary for your area and go, okay, that lasted 4 days. What could I have had better for that one incident? And you might go, okay, I'm going to slowly get 4 days worth of food, 4 days worth of water. It could be in empty milk jugs.
Yeah.
And if you'll take it, just like many are saying in the side chat, one step at a time. You can't go, I'm going to prepare for a hurricane with no power no, no nothing, no screens on the windows for 10 days. That's
Yeah.
overwhelming. So I
Yes.
like that. It's the situation that overwhelms you. Ooh, cat's whistle, girls, BC truck, BC blades. This
BC.
channel stud has
Woo,
arrived.
woo, woo. Bacon brings you joy. Well, there you go, BC.
Hey, moms.
Hey, moms. Good to see you. Hey, Bug Dude. Thank you for coming. Okay, so number two, be realistic. Instead of focusing on every possible scenario that there is, focus
Mhm.
on the greatest threats that you have for your area and your life. So for me, it's tornadoes, wildfires, and ice storms. Those are our three biggest threats that we face every year. Okay. And then
And you've lived
job
through them,
loss.
right? You've experienced it, right?
Oh,
Those
I mean,
three scenarios.
oh
Okay.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Luckily, the tornado didn't hit our land, but it hit very close. They're
Good.
always dropping down around us. I mean, so yeah, that's a very real possibility that one could hit our area, or at least the fact that we're regularly having to go down into our shelter in case one drops. So I want things for that possible and very likely scenario for our area. Another thing, job loss or injury. That's another very likely thing for any one of us. You never know
Yes.
when an injury is going to occur, when when they're going to have layoffs or something at your work, and you need to be prepared for that. So focus on those things, starting with the highest likelihood. Okay, for us, we've actually experienced more ice storms than we have tornadoes since we lived here. So that's my number one thing I prep for is ice storms. And then the second is actually wildfires because when they start, they go fast, and then tornadoes. But those are the three things, and a lot of our preparedness is a lot of the preps cover across the board. So,
Mhm.
you're going to have in food, water for each one of those things. There's different aspects to those things, but a lot of times all of those require lighting, all of those require food, those require water, a first aid kit in case somebody gets injured, simple things like that. So, a lot of your preps cover multiple areas. So that does help. But don't overwhelm yourself with a meteor coming towards our earth and all this other stuff when you haven't even prepped for the most likely things that are going to happen in your area. Okay? So just focus on those, work across the board for things that pertain to those things like for wildfire or really for a tornado. I know in our shelter we're going to need food, water, first aid kit, lighting, okay, a way to communicate like a whistle or something in case something falls on the top of our tornado drops a tractor on top of our shelter. We need a way to let people know who are coming to look for us where our shelter's at in case it's somebody that hasn't been there before.
Mhm.
So, yeah, just start with your most likely scenarios. Grab a little bit of first aid, a little bit of water, a little bit of food, a little bit of lighting, that'll pertain to that. And then, each time you go to town, get a little bit more. And when you feel you have everything ready for those events, then move on to your next most likely event and just keep working your way that direction. And you'll find that you're going to have a lot more peace because you've got those biggest threats first taken care of. I have a lot more peace knowing that I have my supplies down in my shelter if a tornado comes. I feel a lot more peace knowing that I have a lot of the basic things that I need, like a water filter, water, um, ways to
Purification.
light my home, ways to heat my home, all of that in case there's an ice storm. I feel a lot more at peace knowing that those main threats are taken care of, and then I can work on working outward from there.
Mhm.
Um, hey, Mr. Vern, if he's still around and can hear me.
Yes. My husband is Mom's Hilaire is my husband's backup in the event that I die because he loves her. So I had to give him a note. Mom said, "Hey, Vern, back." So it's very important if he hears me say her name that I have to communicate that. So,
In
but
your
I like
will, are you leaving Vern to Mom's lair?
Absolutely, absolutely, because she's the best woman in the world, and she is my homie. Okay, and
Hmm.
she knows a good man when he sees it because she's married to one. So we all have to have our backup spouse. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah.
I think we used baby steps as the word last week. Just any scenario you've been through. You know, Texas is shocked at what they went through. Nobody can be prepared for that kind of outage, right?
Yeah.
All your stored water would freeze, etc. But just little bitty steps. Maybe
Yes.
I'll just start with 2 days of food or something, but
Yes.
don't store a bunch of popsicles if you ain't got a generator backup, right? Because it's all real fast
Yeah.
when the power's out. And I like what
Yeah.
John H. said, avoid panic. Breathe. Morgan said that. Breathe. Okay, we might have an ice storm coming. You don't get any warning on a tornado except that it's tornado season or hurricane season. We get a heads up of about 4 days. You don't get any warning until the news says it's on the ground in whatever big city in Oklahoma.
But we do know, like they know with the weather modules and stuff. Okay, Thursday there's a high
Yes.
possibility. Everything's gonna
Mhm.
setting up for a high probability of very large tornadoes, and so be prepared. So we kind of have
Yes.
a little bit of heads up most of the time. And
Hmm.
also, we have the advantage of, since we've lived here so long, we can feel the change in the atmosphere. Like when it gets real sticky and kind of
Yes.
smothery feeling and stuff, you can almost tell that there's more than likely going to be one somewhere in your area at that time.
Mhm.
So that helps too. But see, I
Yes.
have
And
peace
you
of
wouldn't.
mind. I have peace of mind knowing that I have plans. We have
Yes.
preset plans for if that happens.
But you might not store your water in your garage if you had a garage, because if the tornado hits it, it's all going whoosh. By
Right.
the planning and a blessing, you have that storm cells. But you have to make, like you made that great video on, I got to take stuff. First, I got to clean it. Then I got to take stuff down there. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, and then what if that cellar was destroyed by something weird, or, a big giant tree falls on it, not in a tornado, and then you're thinking,
Yeah.
I wish I had some water stored in my garage, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then John H made a great point. Don't panic. Don't be
Yes.
panicking. That is not going to help you. It's
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be any more prepared than if you didn't panic. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So all it'll do is probably affect the way you're thinking, and you won't be thinking correctly. You've got to take a moment, calm yourself down, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, here's what we need to do. But that's where preparedness plan comes in, you guys.
Yes.
Okay, it helps you.
This is what you have to remember, because if you ever grab someone by the shoulders and go, calm down, this is what you got to say, simmer down. Everybody simmer down now. If
Simmer
you
down now.
come up with a little saying that you have where you're not doing it, but you'll have
Mm,
friends call you, oh my God, do you know what's going to happen?
yeah.
You'll hear they're breathless. Ain't nobody amping me up. Okay. Because I'm working a plan in my head. I'm like, simmer
Yeah.
down, simmer down.
Yeah.
I got
I love.
things to do right now. I'll get back with you. Okay. But I'm going to
Yeah.
get all the preps where we need them. Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's like my granddaughter when she was here and she was staying with us and she had her tonsils out. Well, a couple of days, about 3 or 4 days after she had her tonsils out, she woke up. She was vomiting a large amount of blood and stuff.
oh,
A lot of people would have freaked out, but first of all, I knew if I freaked out, she was going to freak out more. I was like, it's
yes.
going to be okay, Chelsea, but we're going to get you dressed and just have the doctor look at you just in case. It's going to be all
Mhm.
right, you know, and that helped her stay calm. And then afterwards, I was like, what? I explained to her what happened. That scab came loose and it started bleeding, and that you were throwing up blood because while you were sleeping you were swallowing all that blood in your sleep and you didn't realize it, and so
Mhm.
it looked like a lot more than it was. It's okay, it's going to be all right. But
Mhm.
if you stay calm, it's going to keep others around you calm too.
Mhm.
And you're able to think more clearly, you're able to react more quickly if you
Mhm.
stay calm. Okay. And then pre-thinking through a lot of the likely scenarios, you can, put that in your head. Having that preparedness plan really does calm you down quite a bit when I mean, not that I could have foreseen that she would have woke up vomiting a lot of blood, but it does
Yeah.
happen, and so
You can lose your
um
blood clot when you have a tooth removed or a wisdom
mhm
tooth and the saliva where it carries it all. And you're
mhm
like, but yeah, if mama can stay calm or grandma can stay calm as we
mhm
drive to the emergency room, not at 90 miles an hour, we
yeah
might all live through this, without a crash.
yeah yeah
And I won't let unprepared friends call me like the day before a hurricane when I'm getting everything situated and want to
mhm
chit chat about being afraid, is because I
mhm
know they don't have, I'll call you back, and that'll be before the storm comes. But we have
mhm
our own preparedness regimen of strapping things down,
yes
bathtubs, and you cannot let unprepared people amp you. I'm going to
yeah
hold my own, and God help
mhm
me if I have to fall to your house
yeah
because you ain't, but I will
yeah
show up.
yes.
Hmm.
Okay, our third thing, financial responsibility. Okay, although that high end gear and all of that high end stuff would be incredible to have. Okay, I'm not dogging you if you've got it, but you don't have to spend $300 on a water filter to for your home. You don't have to get the fanciest gadgets and all of that are out there. You just need to have something that will work for whatever situation it is. So, charging your credit cards up to buy all this gear to stockpile stuff, that is just going to cause you more stress in the long run because then you're wondering how am I going to get that paid down? Okay, um, you want to just finances is one of the biggest causes of stress for people all over the world, and so you've got to prioritize that as well. Get gear that fits in your budget. When when budgets are tight, take the opportunity to take advantages of free resources. If you can't afford to get it at the time, take that time while you're waiting to build back up on your finances. Take the time to learn a new skill. Take advantage of articles and things. To learn new stuff. Take advantages of your library. You can get a lot of free information just borrowing books and reading until your heart's content. So there are
Hmm.
things you can do without putting yourself at such a risk that you're not getting your regular bills paid or that you're really pushing yourself to the point where if something happens, you don't have a means of taking care of that. So,
There's a great comment along with what you're saying, Tasha.
uh-huh.
From Gerald B. I love that people have all this gear and have no idea how to use it. Have you
Mhm.
ever met up with a friend and said, "Let's look at your bug out bag"?
Mhm.
And everything is in that plastic
Yeah.
container, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
First of all, if you ain't got scissors, you can like cut an artery trying to open those things. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, now, first of all, this is I mean, the knives are in the plastic from whatever place you buy them, like Bass Pro Shop or something.
Mhm.
The bug spray is original. And I'm like, we don't even really, it just all looks pretty, but the
Mhm.
bug out bag is to grab it and run, right?
Yeah.
Not, okay, let me get in the woods with all the bugs and, slash an artery trying to, with the knife I'm trying to get. That plastic stuff they put everything in is so
It's
sharp.
so heavy, yes,
Yeah,
and
it's like,
and
what do
when
you
you
call it?
do
It's
cut
the
it, yeah,
soft.
oh,
Yes, you could put an
yes,
eye out that crap. Hell, that is a knife if you use it. But it
yes,
makes
it
me
is.
crazy. Yeah, and then I'm like, how long has the shower thing? The little shower things you can get like wet wipes. Oh, probably 2 years. Let's open them. Dry as a bone. Dry as a bone. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah. So that was a very good point, Gerald B. Sorry, Tasha, but that was
Oh,
right
no,
along
you're
with what
good.
you were saying.
Demeter Solace, yeah, I mean, off and on, like, I had some issues a while ago. Got booted out at first in my own live stream, just, like,
Yeah.
2 minutes into it, okay?
And
But I'm
listen,
back.
nobody even say I kicked her out, okay? Because I
She
didn't do
did.
it.
It's all her fault. It's
There we
all
go.
her fault.
That's how rumors get started. Yeah,
Nobody be hating on my mouse toes, okay? Because you'll have an
right.
issue with me if you hate on her, okay? I'm just
I didn't
saying.
do it.
Okay, so um, number 4, get and stay organized. And this is an area I've got to work on more. Okay, so I'm not saying that I'm perfect on all of this stuff. Okay, guys, never will say that. But if you get and stay organized, because often we add to our stress if we cannot find the preps that we need when we need them, and also to keep a good, accurate inventory of those things so that you know what you have and what you still need to acquire. It's real easy to go back through and reassess that if you have a list, an inventory made, and you have everything where you can find it, where you know where it's at. Um, let's see. That can just bring you a tremendous peace of mind knowing that. And in order to do that, maybe you set aside time periodically, like weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, whatever, where you put the new preps that you acquired where they belong. Okay, if you don't do it right away when you walk in the door with them, at least take time weekly or whatever to put them where they belong with their family. Like the lighting stuff goes in with the lighting, the candles go in with the candles, the fire starting stuff goes in with the fire starting stuff, whatever. Um, and then you can also, during that time, take a moment to check your stored preps. First of all, to make sure that they're secure, make sure no pests get in them. Okay, that gives you peace of mind. If you see signs of pests anywhere around, you can go ahead and get traps set up to catch those little boogers and keep from them getting into something that you've spent valuable time and money to stock up for your family. So, anything else on that, on the getting and staying organized, Miss Mousetoes?
I think threads and jars, Morgan just hit it, and that is for your family members to know those things. Now,
Yes.
our houses nowadays are much bigger, but when I grew up in New Orleans, it was probably 1,000 square foot VA loan house, right? Okay, and I mean, New Orleans is in a bowl, so the levee could break at any minute. Everybody was shocked in Katrina. I knew that when I was 9. Okay, and I'm like 100 now. So we would have a scavenger hunt. Okay, but remember, my dad was a colonel in the army. So this Saturday we're going to have some fun. So what we had to do was get up to the attic, and my dad would send my brother water, water, water. So he'd have to go up in the attic on those, the little wooden ladder you put up, not one that now we pull down with stairs, right? And he would go up there and aerate or shake. You had plastic milk cartons, wax milk cartons back in the day. Well, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we put our water in. And my brother would have to run up those and shake them, right? And then my dad
Yeah.
say, okay, I had to go up the ladder. They're one-story houses. They're on a foundation. They're not high, right? Send you up to make sure that that wooden ladder that's hooked to the side of that raggedy house is secure. Because if we had to go
Yeah.
up and get on the roof, we would do it from that ladder, like you see on the back of a travel van. People who live in little vans and it's got that little
Right.
aluminum. We didn't have no aluminum. It
Yes.
couldn't afforded it, so it was wooden. So
Afforded it.
that was a fun scavenger hunt. And then when we did it all, we got a popsicle, which your mother
Yes.
had put in the Tupperware thing. She poured Kool-Aid in it. Remember the Tupperware forms for a popsicle? They didn't go buy no popsicle. Your mom just poured Kool-Aid in them freezer things and
Yeah.
stuck a stick in it, probably off a tree, not even a popsicle stick, okay? But it was just what Threads and Jars was referring. Your family needs to know where those things are. What if your dad
Yes.
gets sucked out in a tornado? Somebody got to go up and shake the wax milk carton. So what do you call that? Habits become automatic for you. You get up in the
Yeah.
morning, you brush your teeth, right?
Right.
So it's just sort of repetition, like they teach you in the
Mhm.
military. And
Mhm.
okay, we need to get the rocket stove, which of course was an old can, right? And
Mhm.
then he put you got to get sticks. And see, we would have to have dry sticks because if it's a bad thing, everything's going to be wet in Louisiana. You
Yeah.
didn't have plastic totes back
That,
then, so guess what we put them in? The wax milk cartons, and then
yeah.
you are duct taped or masking tape. They ain't getting wet in there.
That
So to
makes
use
that's
the
smart.
rocket
That
stove.
makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yep. So we didn't do it once a month. We probably did it 3 times a year, but it was so fun, right? To
Yeah.
do it. We're getting a popsicle, bro. He's just trying to save our lives. Because what if we got to get our skinny butt up on the roof, right? Whatever's happening, you had to know what each of you are doing. So
Yeah.
I think that was a
And
very
I
good
think
point you
that's
brought up this morning.
true, and that's just like with with your gear, you don't just need to know how to use it. Your kids need to know how to use it too, age appropriate wise. Okay? Because what if you get injured? What if you have a heart attack and die? What if they have to know how to kind of fend for themselves too, with like the foraging, with the gear use, all of
Hmm.
that. They need to know how to be thinking along those lines too. You got to do it in a fun way that you're not fearing, causing them fear and scaring them.
Yes.
But you've got to work on that. And that's just like Chelsea's bug out bag has almost the exact same things mine and my husband's does. In
Hmm.
case she's here for some reason and we have to get out, she's got to start fire. She's got a way to filter water. She's got a way for all of that. And it's not something I took lightly. I really had to think about it.
Hmm.
But, I wanted to make sure she has what she needs. If she's separated from us, I want to make sure she has what she needs to survive, out on her own or with another group if needed.
Hmm.
So, not that would be worst case scenario, but it is what it is. It could possibly happen. And another thing you could do is until you get into the routine, you could have a calendar that you put on the wall and just mark off when you're going to check your preps or do your put your preps up or whatever, and that
Hmm.
way it will help you to remember until you do get into that routine. Okay, number 5. Don't hyper focus on one single scenario. Some people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to, you know, the polls are going to flip and I need to prepare for that." Okay, yeah. I mean, they probably are at some point. They have in the past, they will again. But again, starting with your most likely scenarios,
I can't hear you, Tasha. She's frozen, frozen, frozen. And two wonderful people in the side chat made the hard words for me: routine and muscle memory. She broke the whole chat, broke it, but it said what I said two times. That's very weird. Okay, now it's maybe, yeah, okay, now she's out, so it may not repeat what I said again. She's voguing again, Trish says. She's doing the robot. But I do like, this is mental. Let's see. Okay, now let's see if it repeats what I said twice or not. Is it going to do it? Okay.
oh my goodness, can you hear me?
She broke mine too. Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see you. And I'm robotic and repeating myself twice. So I might go out now that you're here.
Okay,
Yes.
go out. Refresh yourself. Wow. That is so weird. Can y'all see me on the side chat? Can you see me? So sorry about that. That is frustrating. Yeah. Hi, moms. And of course, that time when I froze like, you know, just weird. Okay, so you can see me and you can hear me. Okay. Good, good, good. Thank you so much. Okay. So, that's crazy. So sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so don't hyper focus on one single scenario. Be sure you prep a little across the board on your immediate needs so you can gradually build on these. Like, for an example, each month I get a hold on, I'm gonna add her back. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. She's coming. It's just slow and steady.
I've muted the YouTube as it was
Okay.
before, and we'll see if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can see and hear you just fine. I don't know. That's weird for both of us to have trouble at the same time.
Yes, it was. So that was maybe a YouTube issue.
Yeah, I think it was. Okay, and it's better over on Pilled again. Sorry about that, everyone over on Pilled and here on YouTube. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, so for example, each month I get a little extra food, a little extra medical supplies, a little extra canning or gardening supplies, a little extra things like on something for my prepper library, book editions, and either extra lighting, fire making, or other survival tools, etc. That covers stuff for a lot of different scenarios. So I'm more focusing on my basic needs than specific scenarios to start out, because no matter what the scenario, I know I'm going to need food. I know I'm going to need water. I know I'm going to need extra medication, first aid supplies, things like that. So, Demeter, you think you were causing the bad luck? Oh, no chance. No
Yeah.
chance. It just is what it is. All right. Number 6, slow down. You do not need to get everything right now, okay? Start with food, with water, with meds for a couple of days and then a couple of weeks. And then, just keep working your way up on those things.
Mm-hmm.
Take a deep breath. I know that sometimes with things that go on in the world, we feel like we just got to get it all and we got to get it right now. It just doesn't happen. So, it doesn't do you any good to do that and to stress about it. Anything to go along with that, Miss Mouse?
Tasha, do you think, this is my opinion, I think this has a lot to do with it, that in the issue, because we can't say the words, nobody type the words in the side chat, please.
Yeah,
The
please don't.
issue of 2020, suddenly, boom, no toilet paper. Suddenly, boom, no chicken in stores. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is causing us to get a lot of emails and a lot about people being overwhelmed and panicking. Now, prior to that, they weren't preppers at all. But because it literally, you went to Walmart and had a fist fight trying to get the last roll, of cardboard toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
That made people panic. And then the fact that there were few jobs, people who could still work and were keeping a steady income to buy those things. The emails I get, I can only imagine what Tasha gets, are just what she said. Catch your breath, slow down. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, that started right back in March. Had
Mm-hmm.
plenty of time to simmer down. And I think
Yeah.
the fear is that is how it will happen again.
Yeah.
And that might be
Yeah.
the overwhelming part.
Yeah. I think so too. Yes, Fuzz Fork is right. Just set your priorities and work things one at a time like that. That's what you got to do. All right. So, number 7, don't be a perfectionist. I have a hard time with this, okay? I have a really hard time with this. But, thinking that everything has to be exactly a certain way can really slow you down on your preparedness journey. So, it's kind of like this. Say you know you need a smokehouse because you're going to go fishing and you need a way to preserve that fish quickly, okay? So say you need a smokehouse. Okay. Well, having a raggedy looking smokehouse made out of a bunch of scraps is better than waiting until you can get the exact materials that you want to make it your dream smokehouse. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can't get your stuff preserved because you don't have a smokehouse because you were trying to be perfectionistic. Also,
Yes.
trying to be perfectionistic causes so much stress. If you have this picture in your head of how perfect everything has to be, and it's unrealistic expectations, or it's so
Mm-hmm.
far that you're causing so much stress on yourself, it just then you get burnout, and then you shut yourself down, and then you just don't get anything prepped, and you don't want that to happen. So don't be so perfectionistic. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal of smokehouses, or everything looking in the same exact type of container to be stored, so that it looks picture perfect, like what you see on a lot of stuff. Your pantry doesn't have to be Pinterest perfect, a Pinterest worthy pantry. Things like that can end up slowing you down or causing you to stop because it's unrealistic for you to achieve in the time that you needed it. Mom Flair says raggedy wins all the time. That's right.
Yes. Yes. I'd rather have a raggedy smoker than a guy, who's the doctor down the street. I was saving up for that big one that they could move in behind an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And like somebody said, they disagree with what we're saying because for Christians, time is running out. And we're just talking about people who are overwhelmed and basically have not been preppers before, who don't know where to start. And
Yeah.
because so many people didn't get the additional unemployment or any, they're starting financially at a loss. So that's who we're talking about. And the Bible does tell us to prepare. But when you can't go to work and you can't leave your house for 6 weeks, right, due to some government telling you can't, and things become overwhelming. So it doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or a Christian, we're just talking about getting overwhelmed. But you have to
Yeah,
start
yeah,
somewhere and
because
start
if you
charging up your Visa card. Hmm.
yeah, five virgins, I'm talking about, you get to the point, like with anything, if you stress yourself out about it so much and stuff like that, and you hit it so hard that you burn yourself out to the point where, like I emotionally just shut down. Like I can't do anymore. I can't even think about it. It overwhelms me to the point I can't function. And a lot of
Hmm.
people are like that. And I don't want to see that happen, because you need to be sure you are still moving forward. And if you're burned out and you're overwhelmed to the point where you're shut down, you're not moving forward. You're not taking positive steps on your preparedness journey. And that's what we're talking about. Just getting some people, over that a bit overwhelmed feeling, giving them some tips and tricks to help them not get to a point where they're not moving forward in their preparedness journey.
Hmm. Yep. Just doing something. Can't have it all. So maybe it hits and you've only got one little rocket stove from a number 10 can, but you
Hmm.
didn't get any twigs or extra lighters. You
Yeah.
can't become overwhelmed by the simple things. I just need some food stored. I need a way to get it hot. You know,
Yes.
you just cannot panic. Yes, breathe, Morgan says, threads and jars. Breathe.
Exactly, and we will get to that. Okay, number 8, don't miss out on the day because you're preparing for tomorrow. Okay, if you're spending every single moment of your life worrying about what could happen and how to prepare for it, you're missing out on life right now. You need to take the time to enjoy your life, to laugh. That's why a lot of people are like, "Oh, Tasha, your late night show, you're not really focusing on prepping, and I want to focus on prepping." But I'm like, you need some time to decompress. You need some time to just laugh. And laughter is medicine, right? Laughter is medicine for the soul. So laughing, just socializing with other people. And it doesn't have to all be about such serious topics that get you in such a kind of a frantic mind state,
Mhm.
state of mind. So that's what I have on that. What about you, Miss Mouse?
I like what Mom Zalayer said, that Revelation says Christians will go into hiding by the sixth seal. Remember, sort of sitting in a room surrounded by some flour or water, taking in some people, and she wants to hide with some stuff. So I was honest and said, Mom, Vern wants to hide with you, and he'll give you all my stuff probably, right? Okay. But and that is what it says, and that's why the Bible says for us to prepare, because a lot of people say the Lord will take care of me. Well, he will, and he'll help you learn. If you learn how to make some bread and you get some yeast and flour, everybody's going to eat some.
Mhm.
So, and I do like that. It's just what you're doing is enough, and the best you can with your budget, and having someone else put anyone having any skill under their belt is better than somebody with no skills.
Yeah.
Like you can sew on an orange, okay, and learn how to do sutures from a YouTube video, but can you
Hmm.
tolerate the sight of blood? Maybe you're just not going to be the suture person. Maybe you're going to be the
Yeah.
person who applies pressure till the person like me who loves blood and wants to open it up and see if she can see the bone
Oh
is
my
at that
gosh, that's so
tense. So
cool.
I know me and you would be going, look, we got
It went
damaged
it went
tissue.
all the way to the bone. That's awesome.
So you're not going to be able to do it all. But what you're doing with your budget can be enough. And like you said, we're not going to have the perfect Berkey system, but I got a whole lot of orange buckets and Lowe's buckets and other things and plenty of ceramic filters, and I could drill a hole if Vern ain't in the mood. And so, we can do it. Just
Yeah.
breathe, just what Threads and Jar said. Don't beat yourself up. You are enough and you're trying. It's all you can do.
That's right. That's right. Demeter, I had fun last night too. So glad you joined us. That was a lot of fun. Okay, the last tip I have, and I'm sure Mouse Toes may have more, I don't know, but pray, read the Bible, meditate, breathe, just take some time to just calm your spirit. Just meditate on God's word if you're a Christian or whatever religion you are. Meditate and just take some time to just stop and be still. That's really important. The Bible says it numerous times, be still and know that I am God. Sometimes you just have to stop and just breathe, relax, and know that you're doing your best and God will help you through it. As long as you're out there and you're trying and you're doing your best, He's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my gist on the whole thing. Is there any questions or anything y'all would like to say?
Now, I think Cadwin made a really good post. If you cannot afford books, right? Because Morgan and Threads and Jars were saying everything's not on YouTube, right? You're going to have to
Right.
do some research.
Mhm.
You can get a Dollar Tree notebook and write things down. Be
Mhm.
a knuckle dragger. What's my goal this month or this
Mhm.
week? Maybe to
Yep.
get another bucket or some Mylar bags, or I want to use every milk jug or orange juice can to store water.
Mhm.
When you write down your plan, my goal this week is, you do it when you finish high school. I'm going to finish high school. I'm going to go to
Mhm.
college, or I'm going to go to trade school. Now, you might
Mhm.
have forget the part where you said, I become an alcoholic and I get 3 baby mamas pregnant. Okay, you have a plan. And if you write it down, you will move in that straight line, not go on a
Right.
bunch of tangents.
It's
Yeah.
the visualizing thing that they teach sometimes. Visualize and then
Hmm.
keep working towards that. Just keep visualizing your goal. Write it down. Write down your goals so you don't let yourself forget. Hold
Yes.
yourself accountable too, not in that you're giving yourself a hard time, but be like, listen, I can do this. I can take these positive steps for my family. They're worth it. I'm worth it. We can get this done if we work together.
I think of us
So,
all as the girl squad, but we got good men in the side too. But
oh
Virginia
yeah.
Ruth nailed it. Practice what you preach. Learn, apply the knowledge. Apply the knowledge. Fix
Mhm.
mistakes. Build confidence with yourself. I can be
Mhm.
an expert on brain surgery until I get a medical degree and a license. I don't need to be drilling into anybody's
Yeah.
head. You
Yeah.
can be an expert at drawing beautiful pictures of pharmaceutical plants as an engineer. Unless you go to the stinking field and smell what it smells like in that pasture land they're
Mm.
digging up to pour some foundation, you ain't nothing but a guy who draws pretty pictures.
Yeah, it's
So,
kind of like this. You can be a physicist and you can know all of the ins and outs of physics, every single bit of it, but
yes,
that doesn't mean you can stand on a rope and balance. Okay? I mean,
yes,
just because
exactly.
you have the knowledge doesn't mean you're going to be able to apply it to the point where it's going to, there's certain skills that have to take practice. Balancing on a rope is going to take practice. It doesn't matter how much physics you know. Balancing on a rope is going to take practice. Your, you
Okay, now
know,
see,
your freedom sticks and freedom seeds. Making sure your
let
aim
me,
is true. That takes practice.
yes, let me tell you why Mom's Hilaire is my homegirl. Her comment is write down where to get and how to use condoms, right?
Oh,
Okay.
no kidding.
It just is what it is. But how many people have been delayed? And they're going to be skills you are not good at, right? But maybe your girlfriend is or your boyfriend. You're going to do the best you can at that skill, but you're going to rock at other skills, right?
Right.
I mean, if I'm dragging my tail to Tasha, okay, because she's going to be like, ooh, you know, if times were good, she'd be like taking a picture and saying, man, I hope the knife nicked the bone. But she's going to take care of me and not let me bleed to death. Other people, if I went to them, they're going to faint, fall on me and my knife wound, and I'm probably going to bleed out because they can't handle blood. Don't beat yourself up for the things you're not good at. We all have, you know, different skills. Like a marriage is his strengths are my weaknesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then mine are his. You know, I'm just better at those things. But
Yeah.
write it down, make a
Yeah.
plan. But you are enough and you're doing
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up. Everybody has their forte, their strong points. And everybody has, like, I'm not like mechanically inclined at all, like whatsoever, but my husband is. But
Yes.
now I can, most of the time, I'm really great at spelling. I'm real good at the book smarts aspect of it. And that's not his forte. I mean, he's a smart man,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, but
Yes.
his main intelligence is in the mechanical aspect of it, problem
Mm-hmm.
solving. He is
Yes.
incredible at stuff like that, you know, and how to fabricate stuff and put things together that I would have never thought of to make something that will work. So yeah, I mean,
When you're married
you
to a man who can take sand, a dead peach tree, and some watering troughs and turn it into a motorized bug out vehicle, okay, that's who Tasha's married to. Okay, the man is madly skilled. Okay,
he is.
so again,
He
you play
is.
on each other's strength, and that's it. That's what. Remember, my saying is that's my jam, right? I don't go
Yeah.
try to do Vern's job. He goes, girl, why are you trying to do? That's my jam, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows I'm probably going to break a drill bit. You know, if there's wood is a little expensive now. It ain't the time to practice. Okay, with your husband's new saw, it just ain't the time. Go in and can something. I just bought you some meat. It's in the
Yeah.
refrigerator. Distract them with their skill sets. You know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And Trish is right. You know, like the ladies' feminine napkins are great for bandages because they're sterile and they're great to use for makeshift bandages in an emergency. They're very absorbent, so they help with that. You get that, and you get some vet wrap or something like that, and you know it'll do you a lot of good. But
Yes.
you know, Five Virgins, I'm a little different than you and Mouse on this. I'm not ready to sit back and enjoy it. I just think of all the people that are gonna suffer during that time, and it just breaks my heart, you know. Um, but I'm a very tender-hearted person, and I don't really want anybody to be hurting or in a bad place. So,
Yep.
um,
We were talking about, you know, some people are like shove tampons in a wound. If you can, don't. Remember, it's just a little 3x3, and it's the kind of gauze that stretches out. If you
mhm.
ever go to sew up somebody who has that, you have to use those tweezers and pull out every one of those threads.
Yeah,
So when you can buy a whole pack of bandages, maybe in an emergency you could, okay?
hmm
But you know, I don't even like talking about tampons because when you girls talking about menstrual cups, I lose it, and I just can't go all these places. But my don't come at me with a tampon, okay? Just don't do it. We're just going to buy a bunch of gauze, you know, that doesn't get all thready. So,
yeah.
yeah, and bamboo underwears. Morgan knows. Yeah, I'll have to check out. People are not right.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is
With
hilarious.
St. Josh, we meant from the it's not mass death and destruction. It means for those who believe in Jesus Christ, it would be the beginning of the 1,000-year reign, right? Where when we get resurrected, we throw off our eyeglasses because we can see, and we start that 1,000-year reign where we have to live the true word of God. So yes, we don't want the mass death and destruction, but I am a little tired of the crime, the incredible poverty. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, so
So
that's
see,
all
I
we
believe
get.
I believe differently on than you on that. On some, I mean, I take Revelations a little bit differently on that. So I am still, even after all the research I've done, I'm still a believer in the rapture. But people can call me foolish if they want. It's okay. But
It's not
I still,
foolish. It's how you feel.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to shove my beliefs down, anybody else's throat
Yes.
either. And I'm not going to say,
Yes.
well, you're wrong and you're stupid for believing that way. Cause
Yes.
I could very
Then
well
you're
be
the liberal.
wrong. I could have interpreted it completely wrong, and all my research,
Yep.
could be for naught. But
So I just
I
wanted to clarify, we're not calling for death and destruction. We were
right,
calling for
right,
something
right,
else.
right,
So
right.
we're on the same mindset. Yeah, and Mom's points out tampons are not sterile. But if you ever use tweezers to pull out them threads, you will get
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you can have roll some gauze and have it already ready to shove down in there if you need to, that would be better. Like the real good medical gauze, like what they pack wounds with and stuff.
Yes. I like it. Tasha, we have lost you again, but we are at the top of the hour.
Oh no, you
Now,
really
I
have
hear
lost
you
me.
now. I got you now.
Do you see me?
I can see you and hear you.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I was reading the side chat, so it may have looked like my face had frozen.
Oh, okay. You were probably
I was
studying
like,
the little script.
I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
drool was coming down my face, the whole nine.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Oh, okay, Gardner Josh. Well, I want to thank each of you so much for coming by. I love each of you so much. I don't know if I'll do a live chat tonight. My husband is not going to have his tooth out in the morning, so I may go ahead and do a live stream tonight. For fun, just a fun live stream, which would be probably, since my husband's off tomorrow, he'll probably be on the internet tonight for a while, so it'll probably be closer to midnight or 12:30 midnight or 12:30 a.m. Central Time. So I may go ahead and do that tonight. My hair's fixed. Well, I don't know. I'm going to go swimming after a while. So the next time you see me, I'm going to look all raggedy again. No makeup, and my hair's going to be all frizzy. Because I'm going to go swimming after I get off of here and go water my garden, and I'm going to get all sweaty. And so I'm going to have to come in and take a good shower after a while. So, yeah. Enjoy while you can, people, because I'm back to my frizzy, raggedy looking self after a while.
Gaze upon her beauty now, because she's coming back and she'll look different, but still is great. That's the bottom line. She'll look different, but still is great. It's who she is. Good night, moms. Good night, Virginia Roots.
I'll say, okay, for all of you that are watching afterwards, and all of you that are new here, thank you so much for coming. Leave your comments in the comments below this video if you're watching it after the live stream has ended. I appreciate each of you. I love you. And guys, remember to prep for it. Prep for it all. Bye, guys.